Beer market. Perfect. Adventure. Half an hour adventure, and then you can go.
You want to adventure with me? I'm telling you.
Why?
It's just not the time.
Why are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Are you engaged?
No, I'm not engaged.
Are you in a very serious, committed relationship where your boyfriend is overly jealous?
What up, Casanova? Today, I want to talk to you about how you can cultivate a quality that will really increase your results in game. It's a mindset that you develop that will permeate in all other areas of your game, all right? And that is a sense of brazenness, a mild sense of brazenness, a subtle sense of brazenness. A healthy amount of brazenness elicits power, strength, confidence. It means being unapologetic about our lives and taking ownership for our desires. It means taking a grounded and authentic stance about what is important to us. Now, to cultivate this quality, you need to have 4 mindsets in place. 1 is to be unrestrained by convention. 2 is to have a healthy sense of entitlement. 3 is to believe that you bring value to the world. And 4 is to know that you want to grow, have a growth mindset. It means pushing your own agenda by potentially offending some people, by potentially stepping on some people's toes, by potentially inconveniencing people to a certain degree, but learning how to ride that fine line, and get away with it with elements of charm, of humor.
Are you seeing someone?
No, you know why? Because
Why?
I don't have any time.
What is this nonsense? What up, Casanova? Before we continue, I just wanted to let you know that I'm working on an exciting new product that's going to drop in the next couple of months that's going to teach you everything you need to know about approaching. So if you want to be the first to get notified and stay in the loop about any launch specials, then join the VIP list and sign up in the link in the description below. All right, now let's get back into it.
I'm doing
Everyone has needs. Everyone has needs.
Good to know.
Right? You can't just bury your head in the textbook. Alright, I'll text you and we'll go from there. 831. If you choose to reject me, I'll live with it like a fucking man.
That's good.
Alright? If that's how you want to live your life. 831
210.
210.
Right? So suppose you want to bring some food into another restaurant, another food establishment. And let's say the guy sees you and he says, oh man, you can't be eating that here. Let's say, usually they may not say anything, right? And you can use humor to your advantage and say, or a little charm and say, oh, brother, come on, I need to eat here. My friend is here, please. Or perhaps I'm at a restaurant and the lights are a little too, bright or too dim. Now, if it's not too much of an inconvenience, I might ask them to turn down the lights a little, right? Sometimes it's so exceptionally bright, and I'm like, why is it so bright, right? Now, again, they're going to decide whether or not they can accommodate, right? But the fact that I'm even asking for something like this is a little shameless, right? It's a little bold, but it's nothing crazy. It means pushing the envelope just ever so slightly of what is socially acceptable. And this, of course, goes hand in hand with cultivating a sense of assertiveness, right? And if you're not used to doing this, if you're not used to pushing the limits of what is acceptable or getting your way, if you're concerned, about making others uncomfortable or inconveniencing people, so you can start small. How this translates to game is you want to roll up with this attitude where you have a healthy sense of entitlement. You're giving yourself permission to approach the girl.
Excuse me, don't do it.
Do what?
Don't walk into the jungle.
Oh,
Let me just introduce you to my son real quick.
to what?
To my son.
You're telling yourself, I'm bringing value to this interaction, okay? And there is going to be some element of delusion in the beginning as you're getting better and better at this, but the more you tell yourself this, the more you're going to put yourself in situations where you're going to get feedback from the world or from these interactions that, hey, it's okay to go after what you want, okay? It's okay to shamelessly interrupt a girl, or approach a girl as she's on a, dinner date with her mom. And you want to, you inject a little bit of charm and you say, excuse me, I hate to interrupt what looks like a very productive mother and daughter dinner date, but, I just had to say, you looked absolutely adorable. You're referring to the daughter. If a girl says that she has a boyfriend and you say, is it super serious? I like to say, are you in a super committed relationship? I'll say, are you truly, madly, deeply in love, right? And it's kind of playful. It's kind of cheeky, right? Some girls may not appreciate this. The odd few, generally, if you inject a little humor into it, girls find it kind of fun. Are you married by any chance, or engaged, or in any committed relationship?
No, not really. I'm not, no.
So if I told you, let's run away tomorrow.
To where?
To an island?
Where? Like.
Or a Scandinavian country, would you do it?
Because like I'm.
Would you drop everything for me?
Person, but like no, I wouldn't drop medical school. So like that's
Why?
my life.
Just because you want to impress your parents? I mean, you roll up to a girl who's on the phone, and and you tell her, listen, you got to get off the phone, right? If she's talking to her mom or her brother, you tell her, hey, you got to call your mom back. You got to tell your brother that you met this really charming bald dude, and you know what? This is life and death. This is bigger than us. People are going to think to themselves, wow, this guy's got some fucking balls, just like telling me to get off the phone, but that means that he thinks he has something to offer.
American?
I'm Christina, and this is my friend Vicky.
I'd like to invite you both to come with me to Oviedo.
Oh, right. You're asking us to fly to Oviedo and back.
No, we'll spend the weekend. I mean, I'll show you around the city, and we'll eat well, we'll drink good wine, we'll make love.
Yeah, who exactly is going to make love?
Hopefully the three of us.
And of course you're going to fuck up a lot of situations and miscalibrate, but over time you're also going to get a lot of positive feedback that's going to embolden and entitle you even more. So if you're knocking on somebody's door in the middle of dinner to sell them a fucking vacuum cleaner because you think it's a good vacuum cleaner, then that's fine, all right? And some people may get upset and they'll say, hey, do you know what hour this is? It's 7 o'clock, we're having dinner, right? But in your mind, it's more important for you to sell that vacuum cleaner. And if you think it's a good vacuum cleaner, which leads into the point of thinking that you're bringing value, then it's completely acceptable, it's completely justified. If you think that you have this amazing vacuum cleaner, right, that you are trying to sell to people, then in your mind, it warrants the disturbance. It warrants knocking on their door when they're in the middle of dinner. That's the thing, people are so afraid of bothering others, okay, of stepping on others' toes, of inconveniencing people. But guess what? In order to get your way in this life, you have to sometimes bother people and inconvenience people, okay? Okay? Everyone's trying to get their way in the world. Everyone's trying to push their own agenda, right? And as long as you're not really doing it at the expense of others, right, then you're okay. I'm going to refrain from commenting on your tattoos. I'm sure there's a lot of meaning behind them. I expect nothing less. But tell me, how dare you wear fake nails?
How dare I take
I thought we've talked about this. No fake nails. I remember I had a student in LA once, and I was sending him in or trying to send him in to talk to this really gorgeous girl who was with her parents, and he was just so terrified. He's like, it's inappropriate. She's with her parents. I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, you got to just do it. Okay. So eventually, I pushed him in, and, eventually I came in to wing him with the parents, and man, they were so receptive.
Excuse me. Are you family? Mom,
Yeah.
sister? Is it okay if I talk to your daughter for 2 seconds? Sure. I just saw her crossing the street, thought she looked really cute. Wanted to say hi, risk it all. And I meet the mom right away, which is cool.
And of course, you gauge their level of comfort and receptivity. You don't necessarily overstay your welcome. You don't, be overly obnoxious, right? And you're going to learn to calibrate this, to gauge these kind of finer nuances of social dynamics as you become more experienced. As you're carving your way out in the world, you're going to be testing the limits, again, of what is possible and what is acceptable by being bold and by being somewhat shameless, right? Because in order to get what you want in the world, you have to be a combination of the two. So I was out with this girl. I remember, like, I was 21, I was seeing this girl, and she invites me for lunch at this hotel bar in the middle of the day. And I come in, and she's sitting there just in, in broad daylight in front of everyone, so brazenly doing lines of coke on the table. And I was like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? At least maybe if you were somewhere in the corner, just like concealed from view, you can maybe get away with it. But this is next level. I mean, obviously, I'm surprised nobody saw her, but this is when you're really pushing the envelope. An example of really bad brazenness is, maybe cheating on your girlfriend and leaving the other girl's belongings on the bedside table, just neglecting to even remove them. Like you completely don't give a fuck. That's just complete shamelessness. But on the other hand, asking a girl to suck on your balls because that's something you enjoy during sex is fine, right? And girls like a guy who can, lead in bed.
How would you like to go see the school counselor?
How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison?
Being brazen is returning to and living into who we really are, what we really think, what we really want, and without shame.
You should run away with me. We'll go to some Caribbean islands.
All right.
Like Saint Bart's, Saint Kitts.
Okay.
We'll pick some kind of a saint's. Wait, are you engaged?
I'm actually married.
Married? That's going to make things so complicated for us.
A lot. Yeah.
I mean, is your husband a reasonable man? Will he be okay with you going for 6 months?
Now, I want to clarify, it does not mean being cocky or self-absorbed or arrogant. It does not mean having excessive pride in oneself or contempt or disdain from others, to look down on people or have absolutely no regard for, other people or social norms and conventions, okay? That's an important point that I want to strike. Sure, sometimes being brazen may come off as a little rude or a little crass or a little inappropriate, but a tasteful amount of inappropriate, a tasteful amount of rude, just bordering on what is acceptable. And this, of course, feeds into that growth mindset that I talked about that helps support this idea of brazenness, because, why play small when deep down you desire to expand and to grow, right? Why hide when deep down you want to emerge and express? Why apologize for your existence?
This is my mail order bride from Brazil. She doesn't speak much English. Hablas portugués.
Lo siento. No hablo.
We barely communicate.
She's beautiful.
So to summarize, in order to cultivate a healthy level of brazenness, you must be 1, unrestrained by convention. 2, have a good sense of entitlement, where you feel like you deserve things, where you feel like you can give yourself permission to do things. You must also feel like you have value to bring to the world, even if in the beginning you're going to be diluting yourself a little. And lastly, you want to harbor a growth mindset so that you can remind yourself that you're carving your own unique path in the world, not at the expense of others, not with a complete disregard for social norms and protocols, but you are riding that fine line of what is and isn't socially acceptable, that gray corridor. You're bending some rules, you're breaking some, and you're doing it with little to no shame. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit that bell button so that you're notified when we put out new videos.